Hey guys, I'm here with a twin flame update, collective reading. I've been getting a lot of downloads, going through a lot of like back and forth swinging action. Some of you know that because you're good friends of mine. But I've learned some stuff that I want to share with you guys, and that'll really help you on this journey. And not only that, I can give a DM update for those who are interested in that and wrap it into that. So let's get started. Alright. Give me a second, ladies. And this. Okay. So what this speaks of for the energy of today is basically being in, being in union with yourself. And not only that, but so lack of union with self, which is not bringing about action, of course, because the twin flame, ending up with your twin flame is just a small portion of what it means to be in union with yourself. When union's about self, when this whole thing is about how to love yourself and actually about the journey and what you're learning and the growth you came here to do, and it isn't ego bound, the masculine isn't as big of a part of it. He's not 50% of it. He's not. Maybe he's 25% of it, but 75% of that is you. And he's just one of those things that aligns to you as you align with yourself in different realms, like pentacles, swords, different stuff like that. So what you're being told to do now that you've had energy to cultivate stuff, kind of speak your truth about it, kind of talk about it to others, but not be looked at outside of yourself. Not be looking outside of yourself. Let's see what else comes forward. I know there's a lot of stuff always going on behind the scenes, and some tarot readers only like to come on when something major's happening with the DM, so people know. But how I like to do it is integrate our own lessons into it, because I feel like it should be a reflection of how life really should be, not just going about and then jumping on a live when your DM is here. When an update is channeled by a reader or something like that. I think it should be, that's only a part of your life, and you're missing a huge chunk of the point, and will have a lot of difficulty coming into union. Is like, if that is your goal, if that is what you're looking for, instead of looking for loving yourself and always being willing to be patient to learn how to love yourself, right? And making it all about you. Because this is a battle between the higher self and the ego. And the ego says, I want this masculine right now, right here. And the higher self says, I want to be sure in myself. I want to live my whole life. And I want to let this love pour into different aspects of my life so I can experience all of them and work with all of them. And that is true love. Your higher self isn't ego bound, it isn't selfish, it doesn't feel incomplete, but ego does this as a way to protect you. So what would you like to tell us about the DM? Okay, Ace of Swords, a lot, communication, Seven of Cups, finding love in different places, the Chariot, Sun in reverse, the Twin Flames, Five of Pentacles. Okay, that's a lot of information. I'm going to pull clarifiers on what they're trying to say about each and every single one of this, so we can paint a picture with that and find out more about this possible energetic counterpart who will end up in our lives as we align with ourselves and our greatest selves. Ace of Swords. Find your truth. That's an expression of self-love. Eight of Wands upright. Letting go of control for the masculine. But yeah, how many cards are out? 7. Interesting. Okay. I think this is like kind of steps we go by or something. 7 of Cups. High Priestess in reverse. Give us another clarifier about that. Oh, it's finding love in other places, not being awakened to perhaps the controls of the ego versus the higher self. Even though you feel something, you just don't know what it means and you aren't implementing it because you don't know you don't know what it means exactly. But letting go of control brings in communication, brings in fast forward movement in your own life, in cultivating things. What I know this sounds great. I want that. I want this. I want fast forward movement and self-love and just feeling great, living my best life, like being with like the greatest guy for me, the greatest sex, greatest everything. But if you make this about, oh, I'll be so much happier when my DM's here because I get to love him and he's improved, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it as an expression of self-love. That is kind of a controlling way of thinking. And with that, when you let go of this control, then it's kind of like a domino effect and other things start to happen after that. So it's not so much about what you're trying to create, but think about your intention behind it, and if your intention is backed up by your higher self or ego, because they are two very different, two very competing sides of yourself. So don't say that you've released when you've released for this outcome, maybe even with a certain person, or maybe even not with a certain person, but released for this outcome. Release it because you want a better life, because you know you deserve it, and not because you're tired of this and you're afraid of everything that's been going on. That's also ego trying to protect you. Do it because the past doesn't matter. Heal the past, release the past, and do it because now that you're so aware of your higher self and who your higher self is versus who your ego is, maybe do a fear letter about them both. Think about how the world's seeing you versus how you're seeing yourself. How your higher self sees you. And you'll see the difference of the ego and ego's manipulations on your mind to protect it versus your higher self. And that'll help you align with who you truly are supposed to be even more. So, the Chariot. What do you have to say about that, Spirit? Thinking of how to love yourself. Divine Masculine, thus thinking of how to love you. What else about the Chariot do you want to say? Forward movement. I think all this happens after you look at different ways to love yourself. You reverse this need of control, and you kind of think about how ego against higher mind kind of mentality and thinking. So as the Sun in reverse, end of a cycle, King of Swords, speaking your truth, standing firm in it. So I think the Sun in reverse has to do with kind of like maybe bouncing back, but do your fear letters, think about different ways. You want results, you want all these good things in your life. First of all, make it about you. Make it about you getting all these good things, including twin flames, including abundance, including great chances and opportunities, including great things, because your twin flame shouldn't be the only abundant thing in your life. And you shouldn't attach a person to being your twin flame either. So, as long as you focus on the right things and ask yourself about your intention, you will release control, and you'll be able to call in all the good things you want for yourself. See, like, imagine, what if twins didn't exist? I'm not trying to trigger you, but I'm saying, what if they didn't? Like, what if you never found out about twins because it wasn't real, and our journey was just an individual journey? The twin flame reality and journey kind of provides us some sort of comfort, which is something that we need to release. We need to stop being comfortable in knowing that there will be someone, even though, like, it does provide comfort. It provides faith in believing in your higher self and intuition. So that's the lesson with that. But that comfort shouldn't be one that your ego takes on. Your ego should still live your life to the best. Because what if there weren't twins? Maybe you would be going out to the supermarket and talking to random strangers and being like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for myself. Maybe you would be making more friends. Maybe you would be meeting new guys and going on dates. Maybe you would be doing different stuff. And that would help build up the person you're supposed to be and bring in this abundance, not only in physical senses, but this feeling of abundance, of having so much, of being able to do so much. And when the ego holds on to the twin flame concept instead of the higher self, it prevents growth. So this is why it's really important to see the difference between growth in terms of your ego and your higher self. So that is really what I recommend for Divine Feminines today. Okay, 2 of Cups upright. What do you want to say about that, Spirit? Continuing on the journey, maybe without ego. Working on yourself, going into the 3D world and putting in that energy, living the life you were supposed to and you are meant to live, instead of letting your ego control that and be like, oh well, everything's gonna happen anyways, and just sitting on your butt. What else? What else do you have to tell us about the 2 of Cups upright? The past and Tower in reverse. Okay, it's the 9 of Wands in reverse, but this is a card I usually see before a Tower moment. So it's saying as you release the past, as you heal from the past, you will consequently also remove any need for Tower moments, because it's going to keep on crashing and burning and hurting more and more as you hold on to your ego, and your ego is holding on to the past. The past doesn't have to be pain. The past could be love, but you shouldn't romanticize love or anything that is not in your life right now. Why would you do that? What is it that you feel like that had that now doesn't? And work on bringing that in your life. Work on cultivating that. You can cultivate it within yourself. You can find it in other people. But to find it in other people and be able to effectively have it in a non-ego bound way, you have to love yourself first. So work on those affirmations. Okay. 5 of Pentacles. What do you want to tell us about the 5 of Pentacles? I will give a very open DM update after this, during this video, if you really want to see it. But you could also be spending your time working on yourself. Just a heads up. There's nothing wrong with trying to find out where your true partner is at. No judgment for that at all. It's healthy, it's normal. But it's also about how you feel about it at the moment. So what came out for the 5 of Pentacles was a Magician. So manifesting all this abundance, everything you want in your life. Victimization, and then 10 of Pentacles. What do you have to say about the 7 of Wands in reverse? Victimization happens when you don't see the hope in situations, so what this is calling for is a change in perspective. 10 of Pentacles, 21. For some reason I feel like that's the theme of today, completion. Okay, lack of union. The opposite of that, victimization, hope. See, it's a change of perspective, what you want. Lack of union. Okay, abundance in pentacles. The whole world. Everything that you can have and want to have. Ten of Cups in reverse. Lack of union. Awakening to the idea of ego versus higher self. Okay, now for the DM update. So what is a true divine masculine? What's going on in his 5D headspace? Telling him to rest. Telling him to find ways to love himself. Think about the pentacle and the offer. What's going on in the 5D divine masculine's heart space? Patience. Rest. He's been feeling this very go, go, go energy, but now it's about doing that right. And the feminine's being also told to release ego and embrace true love. Embrace her higher self in that way. In abundance. Patience and abundance. The divine masculine here, the 5D energy of the divine masculine is also mirroring us. So feel free to use this for you as well. Or feel free to use that for what the DM has to learn as well. 3D divine masculine headspace. Feeling trapped. Feeling trapped. Probably because of being on the go a lot. Stagnant energy because of that. Thinking about the pentacles only. Is there any, okay, never mind. So 3D heart space. Karma. In his heart, he's holding on. What else? Seems like we've come to a standstill, and until this ego and higher self problem is solved, that this is kind of how it's going to continue to be. Not wanting to have a tower moment, fear. This is a form of ego too, as is this. So, are you loving yourself in the right way, feminine? If not, you can see direct translations into here. He is unable to become the King of Pentacles when you are holding so tightly onto ego. He is unable to feel good in an earthly realm about himself, and this is making him hold on. Alright, so what is it that the divine masculine, the 5D divine masculine, wants to tell us? Something about holding on. Something about kind of being sneaky. This could be him holding on, but remember, as mirrors, if he's doing something, you're probably doing it in a different way, but the same thing. He's holding on to his life as you are him. It turns out to be different. You're holding on to your ego as he is his, but those translate into different things. The 7 of Swords. He's not being able, he's being sneaky about it, and this is creating a standstill, not allowing progress in the work to come through. What else does the divine masculine want to tell us? To stop fighting with yourself, to find your truth, to be decisive, to not hold on to two things anymore and juggle them anymore. Don't juggle your ego and your higher self. Stand within your truth. Stop resisting. That's a message to himself too. But as the DM, as the less awakened twin, you can't expect him to change if you're doing this. So you need to be honest with yourself and make sure it's not ego driving this for results either here. You have to release that, but do it for you. Why are you trying to stay in this stuck situation? Why aren't you trying to call in good things for yourself? Good things for yourself in all spheres. You're being stuck too. Are there any other messages from the DM? Anything he's feeling about his divine feminine? feels victimized. He feels like he's afraid to come out. He feels like her energy's not in the place that he wants it to be. He feels uncomfortable in coming out unless she's in this energy, which is loving herself without ego. He feels very scared. He feels like old things are going to come up. He feels like the past is being held on to, and he's not completely wrong about that. He wants to stop having these sleepless nights. He wants to stop this victimization. He wants the feminine to rise and gain her power so he can evolve. He knows what the best thing for him is, but he also doubts himself like you doubt him. And that's translating in as well. So ladies, please, please, please write those fear letters. It's not time to go within. It's time to go outwards and deal with things as they come up. What else? Yeah, this indecisive energy is not being helpful at all. It is not letting the DM move forward. It is not allowing the feminine to be in her power. It's not allowing the feminine to be in the sun power. Oh, look, he's hanging from chains from the sun itself. The chain isn't free, and neither is he. Neither are you. So free yourself. Free yourself from a vessel. Free yourself from thinking about a guy and basing your happiness on him. Free yourself from your ego and your fear-based thoughts and how that acts up in your life, and find out how it does in different ways. Write letters about yourself from other people's point of view and see if you actually believe any of that. Look at things like that. So yeah, I hope this helped. I'm sorry this wasn't a lot more about the DM, but I thought this was necessary. So thank you guys so much. See you soon.